Good morning, everyone. Today, I just want to have a relaxing chat with you filled with minimalism motivation. I just want some of these minimalism and decluttering ideas to wash over you to help you get out there and make the changes that maybe you want to make in your life. My hope is that this can be relaxed and chatty, almost like we're hanging out together, and that you can even just put this video on in the background as you go about your day. I personally think hearing other people's stories about how they made the leap to minimalism, how it's impacted them, is a great way of motivating me to make the changes I want to make. So I thought I'd share some examples with you from my own life. This is also going to be a getting ready with me because, as you see, I haven't done my hair and makeup today. So let's get started. Essentially, there's been a way that recently minimalism has really helped me out in just navigating some stressors in my life right now. My husband Andy has been a doctor for a little bit now. He finished residency and then is doing a chief residency year in internal medicine. So he works in the hospital and he has always been really passionate about cardiology. He's just really enjoyed it, naturally drawn to it. And so he's been applying to cardiology fellowship. It's a little bit of a financial stressor just because, that's another kind of training period. But it's also exciting because I think he's just so excited about it and so passionate about it. But in that process, he also has to go through a match process, which if you know about the match, you know what I'm talking about. But basically what happens even for residency after you finish medical school, you apply to a bunch of different programs, you get interviews, and then you rank the places that you're interested in, that you've interviewed at, and they rank you. You put those numbers in, and then an algorithm spits out where you're gonna end up. That's stressful because you might have locations all over the country, and all of a sudden you are forced to go somewhere you did not expect, which can be really hard on people if they have families or kids or just complicated situations. It can be a hugely stressful thing and a financially difficult thing as well. He's been applying all over the country. He's gotten interviews all over the place. He's in the process of ranking them, and then we'll find out relatively soon where he will and we will end up. We have no idea if we're about to move across the country come this spring or whether we'll be staying here. It's kind of a wild thing, especially at this age. It's one thing to do it if you're like 22 or one thing to do it if you're like mid-20s even, but somehow when you're 32 years old, you're kind of like, I'm a little bit over it. Already in our lives, Andy and I have had to do a lot of moving and a lot of just like challenging long distance things. Like I had to move to Philadelphia for my PhD program. Then Andy had to move to North Dakota for medical school. Then I actually had a match system for my internship year of my clinical psychology PhD program, which luckily I did match at the location near Andy. So that did work out, but that was stressful. So we had a first match then, and then we had a second match when Andy matched to residency in Minneapolis, which is where we are now. And then after that, now we have this match process again. So between the two of us as a couple, we have had 3 matches and numerous big moves across the country. And I think that I've been feeling a lot lately that minimalism has played a huge role in how I feel about that whole potential change and how I've navigated it. And it really has improved how I feel about the whole situation. And I want to go into that more in a second, but I want to really quickly here talk about the sponsor of this video, Meritt Beauty. They're the minimalist beauty brand that is my go-to. This minimalist complexion stick, first of all, is them. I have it here in linen, and what's great is that it serves both as a foundation and a concealer, and it has this nice thin tip so that I can really get into the corners of my face. It's also very buildable, so I can have light or heavier coverage. I'm also using their Flesh Balm and Persimmon. Again, very buildable so that I can have the exact amount of color I want. And what I love about Meritt is that they're focused on minimalist beauty. So they create products that are kind of multifaceted, multi-purpose, just kind of a core collection of products that's really all you need. So you don't have to think much when you go do your makeup in the morning. Their products are really focused on being good for your skin or being skin first. All their products are also non-comedogenic, which means they don't clog pores. Arguably my favorite product of theirs is the highlighting balm in Kava. You can see I've used it a lot. It is just so glowy, makes my skin look so hydrated. I love it. And then the product I've been obsessing over most recently is their Solo Shadow. I have it in Vachetta, and it's this beautiful eyeshadow that you can put on in honestly like about 15 seconds. It's so easy to blend, you can't mess it up. What's really great is that every first Meritt order ships with Meritt's free signature bag, which I love, and then every order over $40 ships free. And the reason why I'm talking about it now is that Meritt is granting me exclusive early access to their Black Friday and Cyber Monday sale. You can get 20% off your order with the promo code ALEN20. My code is live from 11/19 to 11/21, so take advantage while you can. And I have to say, Meritt makes a great holiday gift either for yourself or for makeup lovers or novices. And I'll have all the details of the products I used mentioned below. Anyway, let me get back to the topic of this video as I move on to my hair. So basically it has been kind of a stressful up in the air time for Andy and me, just not knowing where we're gonna end up or what's gonna happen. And there comes a point where you're in a situation like that and you kind of just have to let go of control and just say, you know what will happen will happen. And I honestly think that minimalism has helped me accept these types of changes in my life a lot better and has opened my life up to more possibilities and more flexibility and essentially freedom. The idea of moving, especially if we have to move a far distance or across the country, is scary for anyone at any time, especially if we have to move somewhere where we don't know anybody. But I think a big part of why moving is so stressful is all the stuff. And not just the physical act of having to move it all, but the emotional impact of having to go through all your belongings, sift through all your stuff, decide yet again, what to declutter, what to keep, and to just feel overwhelmed. Stuff is a huge barrier to feeling open to the possibility of moving, to feel open to change. It's not even necessarily that I've minimized so much that I have like no stuff in my house and I could pack everything in a suitcase and go somewhere. Like I do still have a good amount of stuff, but the thing is, the idea of moving is less scary because I do have far less than I would have if I hadn't started pursuing minimalism. Like thinking about all the stuff that I have decluttered and all of the belongings that I didn't collect or didn't buy or didn't take because I knew that I was trying to live with less, it has opened my world. And also, there might be areas in my home that I still haven't totally decluttered. At least I know that I have a bit of a decluttering muscle now, that I have more of the right minimalism mindset, and that when the time comes, if we have to move, I will feel free to let go and to let go of a high percentage of what is left of the stuff that I haven't really decluttered yet. I didn't realize that decluttering and living with a bit less would make me feel so much more hopeful in what would otherwise be a far more stressful process. And it actually makes me excited about the future, whatever that future holds, whether we stay or whether we move to a very far away place. I also think another example of how minimalism has helped me is honestly in the process of my MS diagnosis. I started pursuing minimalism a bit before getting my diagnosis. I kind of think now if I hadn't started pursuing minimalism before that diagnosis, I don't know what I would have done. Like on top of all the stressors of how my symptoms affect me and the fear of the future and navigating the difficult medical system and all the financial challenges that came along with this diagnosis, just all of the stressors, I think if I hadn't found minimalism around that same time, I would have really sort of lost it, whatever that means. I just think that somehow having a bit less and making my home life and managing my home a bit more manageable by having less allowed me to just focus on the crisis at hand. It allowed me to put my emotional and physical energy into taking care of myself and into doing the medical things that I needed to do at that time. And I think even now, day to day, I do struggle all the time with MS symptoms, really extreme fatigue, a type of fatigue I didn't even really take seriously in other people before I experienced it, where it's really incapacitating, where it's just hard to even get up at all. And then also constant dizziness literally all the time. Sometimes a lot of lightheadedness and disorientation, and then also visual problems and numbness and tingling, and just a bunch of really distracting, frustrating symptoms that affect my ability to work, to focus, that affect my quality of life. So I just feel like doing some minimizing before this all started helped me just focus on making the calls to the doctor and to the insurance company that I needed to make, to attend my many appointments and blood draws and all of that, to have time in the evenings to just process what was happening with my husband, and to try to also be there for him, because this, is kind of hard on him too. And I just think that minimalism provides the space and the flexibility to focus on what you need to focus on at the time that you need to focus on it. And sometimes you don't know what that will be before it comes up. You might be someone like I was, who is going around the world thinking you're a healthy person, thinking everything's fine, and then all of a sudden you're dealing with a crisis. And I think that preemptively jumping on minimalism, making those changes, doing the declutters, changing your approach to shopping and collecting can help you and protect you at those times when you are in need or in crisis, or even less dramatically, just going through a rough time. And I also think that minimalism can help you not just in these kind of bigger dramatic ways, but also day to day, just making life easier, getting you through the day, cleaning up the kitchen at the end of the evening, and feeling like I can do this, I can handle this, this isn't a horrible amount of work. Minimalism has not only changed my life in the past, but it's continuing to change my life, and it's continuing to change my life in ways I did not even anticipate. Because I recently made a video on finding the why, figuring out why you want to make the changes, but I also think that sometimes there will be benefits you don't even know until you're in it and seeing those benefits. And it is exciting. It's like a good feeling, like, wow, this work and effort has paid off and is continuing to pay off. And I wonder what ways it'll continue to pay off in the future. I don't know. I hope that this in some way helped you, or helped you think about how could minimalism impact me in ways I might not even realize now, or if you're already on that journey, how has it impacted me? I'd love to hear from any of you if you do have experiences or stories from your own life that kind of resonate with this topic. Often at the end of a video, I'll say, hey, hit the subscribe button or hit the like button to help me out and to support the channel. But I also just want to take a second to thank you, to thank those of you who do that, to those of you who are subscribers, to those of you who do regularly like my videos, or who even just watch my videos. That is why I'm able to continue to create content. You are why I keep doing what I'm doing, why I'm able to carve out time in my life to make these videos, because honestly, they are a lot of work, but I also so enjoy creating them, and I find them almost therapeutic for me. And it's fun to connect with all of you in the outside world and hear your stories and just hear your reactions and ideas, and you're constantly making me think. But going back to what I was saying, I'm just grateful for that little action of even just hitting the like button, because it does help promote my videos. It helps this channel basically continue to thrive, to continue to stay alive. I'm so grateful that I have this little corner of the internet and this community to talk about the things that are going on in my life, to motivate myself to keep going with my goals, to just express myself in a creative way, and to have this ongoing relationship with this community. I don't know, I don't even know how to put it in words, but I'm so grateful for that, and I'm grateful for you as an individual watching this. Thank you, and thank you for spending this time with me. That's why I always end my videos that way. I am deeply grateful. Also, I know in the next month or two, I'll have to tell you if Andy and I find out we have to move somewhere, and if so, where we have to move. So it's an exciting time, and I'll keep you up to date. Anyway, I will stop rambling, but thank you so much for spending this little bit of time with me, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.